Hello and welcome to the Supervisor of Elections Office, Leon County. This presentation will introduce you to some of our staff members, what our mission statement is, what we value, and what our goals are. You are now a member of our team and we look forward to working with you. Please be sure that you're seated, you're comfortable, and that your cell phones are on mute. Enjoy the presentation. But first, to meet you, we'd like a quick message from Christopher Moore, Assistant Supervisor of Elections.
Hi, I'm Chris Moore, the Assistant Supervisor of Elections in Leon County. Welcome to your orientation. Today you're going to learn about what it's like to work for the Elections Office. You're going to meet some of your coworkers and some of the managers that work with us. No matter where you are in the arc of your career, you're going to find that working in elections is a challenging yet rewarding experience. Your orientation journey begins now.
Our mission statement. The Supervisor of Elections Office is charged with conducting elections within Leon County with integrity, transparency, and accuracy. The Supervisor of Elections Office is responsible for providing accessible elections, opportunities for voter registration, and maintaining voter records in a professional manner. And what we do is very important. We have many responsibilities. We register voters and maintain voter registration files. We conduct federal, state, and local elections and administer the provisions of the campaign reporting laws. We uphold the election laws for the state of Florida and provide public education and information. We have some very important goals of our office. First and foremost, to engage our citizens to participate in the electoral process. And we promote innovation. We maintain policies and procedures that deliver our services to the citizens of Leon County in the most proficient and cost-effective manner to serve all citizens. And we use technology to maintain and improve the administration of elections with transparency, equality, integrity, and accuracy. We have many values in our office. We empower our staff with continuing education on industry-related technology and issues, and seek efficiencies in processing voter registration and conducting elections. We choose cost-effective solutions to remain responsible stewards of public funds, and treat each vote and voter with our full attention and respect. We provide friendly, accurate, and helpful customer service. We evaluate our processes to identify opportunities for continual improvement and educate citizens about registration requirements and methods to vote. We respect local, state, and federal election laws and cultivate and retain a loyal and capable team of election officials. Leon County is known nationwide for excellence in election administration. And we'd like you to get to know us a little better. Here again is Chris.
Some things you may not know about me that are interesting. One of them was I cooked in a restaurant when I was in college. I learned how to cook pizza, pasta, burgers, chicken. I sliced tomatoes, made soups, and so I learned how to cook at a very young age. Another thing that I did one summer was collect alligator eggs for a person who owned an alligator farm. That job consisted of flying around in a two-person helicopter, getting dropped off into a swamp, picking up the eggs out of the nest, all while trying to pay attention to where Mama Gator was at the time. You don't want her sneaking up on you. Something else you may not know about me is I like to cook in competition chili cook-offs. Some friends and I cook chili in cook-offs, and while we've never won anything, we did make the finals a couple of times.
If you'll notice by our organizational chart, the very top of the organizational chart are our voters. They are the reasons that we work so hard to maintain the integrity, transparency, and accuracy of elections that are conducted here in our county. This is the staff that you'll be working with. The Supervisor of Elections is the Honorable Ion Sancho. The pictures that you see here are staff that have been dedicating many years to provide efficiencies, accessibility, and opportunities for voting and voter registration in a professional manner here in Leon County. You'll get to know these folks, and you are now part of our team. And here's some interesting election facts for you. In 2016, we could have over 250,000 registered voters. In Leon County, we have one incorporated municipality, and that is the City of Tallahassee. We have 4 post-secondary schools: FAMU, FSU, TCC, Lively Vocational Tech, and one private post-secondary school, Kaiser University. With the high number of students that we have in Leon County, we are one of the highest percentages of address changes in the state. 2016 will have three elections: the presidential preference primary on March 15th, the primary election on August 30th, and the general election on November 8th. 2016 could be challenging. Why is 2016 so special?
2016 is going to be a very busy year in the elections industry. We're going to serve more voters than we've ever served before in the history of Leon County, possibly have the highest turnout that we've ever had in a general election, and we have more candidates on our local election ballots than we've ever had before. We're glad that you're with us on this journey, and be prepared for a very busy election season.
We have some exciting history at the Supervisor of Elections office here in Leon County. We've had many former supervisors going back to the late 1800s, and here's just a listing of all the Supervisor of Elections since 1897. As you go through the list, you'll see that at the very end is Ion Sancho. He's our current elected Supervisor of Elections and has been elected since 1989. This is a map of the city of Tallahassee in 1936. Notice how it changes between 1967 and 1971. And this is our current Leon County precinct map. Talking about maps, this is Johnny Toe, our GIS demographics manager.
Grew up on a farm. We have quite a bit of different animals: buffaloes, cows, chickens, horses, pigs, llamas. One time I got chased out of a pen by a mother pig because they're trying to round up some of the smaller pigs. And we also have some alligators. My brother went to UF, so for graduation we took some of the alligators down to the school for him. So you can take some graduation pictures with the alligators.
And we all remember the 2000 presidential elections.
We had a big problem in Florida in 2000 that was internationally recognized, and you took a leadership position then in terms of trying to reform the election process along with other people. Compared to then, how far has Florida come in reforming its election process?
We've come light years. We have changed our laws dramatically. We've increased our technology dramatically. We've provided more access for the citizenry. For example, in 2002, early voting was made mandatory for the entire state. And that's a process that we're proud of because we developed it here in Leon County in 1994.
First in the nation.
First in Florida. I actually have to admit I borrowed that concept from Texas, okay, which had required that early voting be conducted. And I came back here from a conference that was in Albuquerque, in which I met a lot of Texas officials, and realized that we had laws in the state of Florida that could allow for early voting, in-office absentee ballot voting. And that's what we essentially used to create the early voting process. And it was Secretary of State Jim Smith, acting in his interim capacity, that pushed for its adoption in 2002, and subsequently early voting is required now in every jurisdiction for major elections.
Our office promotes innovation, and here's just some general facts for you. The technology project team leaders are pictured here. Mark Early is on the left and Thomas T.J. James on the right. So TJ, let's get to know a little bit more about you.
Oh yeah, prior to coming here, I was an auto mechanic at Sears, installing cruise controls, doing diagnostics, installing radios and that type of stuff.
How did it help you doing this?
Diagnostics will always follow you through because you got to go through some schematics and ruling points of failure out, which is always comes back to play in the elections as far as doing diagnostics and ruling problem solving, especially dealing with computers and problem solving techniques.
Oh.
Leon County has had many different voting machines throughout history. This is the lever voting machine. It was first invented in 1897. Leon County had their very first lever machine built in the 1930s. We used this machine until 1991. And this is Mark Early preparing one of those lever machines. As you'll notice, the machine was rather large and it was pretty heavy. We introduced the AccuVote OS optical scan machine in 1991. In 2006, we introduced the touchscreen voting machine. This specific machine was designed to assist voters with disabilities. The AccuVote OSX optical scan machine was introduced first in early voting in 2008. Our current next generation optical scanner is the Dominion ICE, or ImageCast Evolution. This voting machine has an interactive technology that allows voters with disabilities the opportunity to vote a regular paper ballot independently. We're very excited about this new voting machine. We also will have electronic poll books at each site, both early voting and on election day. We're very excited about that. So what is an electronic poll book? Well, an electronic poll book electronically receives a voter's information using their driver's license, or we can do a manual search. It allows real-time voter check-in, and it's very easy and an efficient way to assist our voters. This is a picture of what one of the EVIDs, or electronic poll book, looks like. We also promote much participation with our citizens. And here's just some general information. The early voting and outreach team leader is pictured here. This is Monique Duncan Jones. Early voting, there's some interesting things that we'd like you to know. For instance, there are 7 sites open during early voting. The new electronic poll book and ballot on demand technology that we use makes the process easier for voters, and nearly 50% of voters will either vote early or by mail before Election Day. And just to get to know us a little better, this is Monique.
Had a great opportunity to visit Japan right out of high school with a friend of mine before we all went on to college. And she took me to Japan, and it was an 18-hour flight, and it was the first time I had flown just me and another kid for a long distance in my life. And once we got to Osaka, where we landed, it was a whole nother world. We had some great experiences. We rode the bullet train from Tokyo to the countryside. While we were in Tokyo, we went to a fun restaurant, we went shopping at a mall, which was a different experience because of all of the different items, clothing, men's clothing, women's clothing, shoes, was on different levels. And it was great. It was a fun time.
The front office and mail ballot team leader is Karen Williams. So Karen, can you tell us a little bit more about you?
Something you wouldn't know about me is that I like to run marathons. And this past year, I ran the toughest road marathon in the United States, where I ran over 3 mountains and had a total of over 7,000 feet elevation.
As was stated previously, most voters, at least 50%, will vote early or by mail before Election Day. As far as mail ballots are concerned, did you know that a qualified voter can request a ballot to be mailed to them? In Florida, a person does not have to have an excuse to vote absentee. Voters must return their voted mail ballots no later than 7 p.m. on Election Day. And Leon County has led the way in intelligent mail barcoding. Leon County was the first county in the state of Florida to use the intelligent mail barcode. And the use of this technology allows the Supervisor of Elections office to track outgoing mail ballots through the mail system. And we even have won awards for our mail ballot envelope. The Supervisor of Elections won a national award for the design of the mail ballot envelope and was recognized for the unique color of our envelope as well as the placement of barcodes that we use to prevent boomerang ballots. Voters may come in person to pick up and vote a mail ballot at the Supervisor of Elections office prior to the start of early voting, and this is known as in-office absentee. Again, all voted mail ballots must be received at the Supervisor of Elections office no later than 7 p.m. on Election Day. In order to assist us in our goals, we have many poll workers that work on Election Day. The poll worker project team leader is pictured here. Diana Mitchell Fulford is on the right, and that's Carol, one of our poll workers, on the left. So Diana, can you share a little bit about you?
Something interesting about me that you probably wouldn't know, I grew up military. My father was in the Army, so I traveled most of my life overseas in Germany and all over the United States. So I have this sense of adventure that is still in my blood. I'm a scuba diver. I dove off California and off the Bahamas, and anytime I can, I love to be near the water.
Voting in your polling location on Election Day is the last chance to vote. Election Day begins at 7 a.m. and ends at 7 p.m. unless the governor orders otherwise. And sites are chosen based on the needs of the county and they reflect the neighborhoods that they serve. Historically, more voters take advantage of voting on their polling locations on Election Day. And you may hear the term provisional ballots. And what is a provisional ballot? Well, a provisional ballot serves as a fail-safe for a voter who might otherwise be disenfranchised. Accepted provisional ballots are included in the official election results, and voters can track the status of their provisional ballot through the Supervisor of Elections website following an election, and of course the voter will also receive a letter from our office. We have a dedicated group of canvassing members, and this is the canvassing team leader, Holly Thompson. So exactly who are the canvassing board members and what do they do? Well, the members include the Supervisor of Elections, a county commissioner, and a county judge. They adjudicate ballots, and they conduct voting technology testing, and they certify our election. All right, at this point, we're going to ask you to please rise and raise your right hand so that you may take the oath of employment. One of our permanent staff members will assist you at this point in reciting your oath. This concludes this module. At this point, you will complete the employment paperwork that you've been given. We'll also make sure that you receive your new ID badge and your computer login information. We'll take you on a tour so that you get familiar with our office, and then you'll be provided your lunch break. After your lunch break, you will begin your online training modules. Thank you. Again, welcome to the team.